Hey everybody, Mike Canales here, back for part two of Making the Case for a Pathway. So today I want to talk about life safety. The building, as you know, is specially designed, operated, and maintained. And it's designed to protect the most vulnerable, right? That's what we do. That's a big part of our job. It's a really critical part of our job. And I know some of you are thinking, well, Mike, thank you, Captain Obvious, right? Is this something we just know? We know this. We know that's what the building, part of the building's job is. We know this is why we spend so much energy on so many parts and systems. The thing is, though, when you come into the job, maybe you don't realize just how complex it is, how deep it is. All of us come in and go, NFPA 101, chapter 18, 19, new and existing. That's really important, right? We dive into that. We reference that. We start getting into the earlier chapters, 1 through 11, and we start realizing, 1 through 10, how that references for almost all the other areas. Then we start to see, hey, 2021, that has to do with ambulatory surgical. Then we get into the business occupancy and the assisted living and residentials in 101. But behind that are all these other references, NFP 10 for extinguishers and 13 and 25 for sprinklers and pumps and 30 for aerosols and alcohol-based hand rubs and 55 for compressed gas and 72 for electrical signaling and it goes on 99 and 80 and on and on. And then we start realizing there's all these other pieces and parts that tie into it and all these inspections. And as we go through our careers, we start to realize, wow, this is a deep, comprehensive, complex building design, maintenance, and operations. And sometimes we don't even get to that point. We realize, guess what? There's some 10-year inspections, 5-year inspections, 20-year inspections, and replacements, and 50-year that are required. Again, these are the kind of things that you just start to dabble in when you get into the job, but as you go, you realize, wow, this just goes on and on and on. I have a saying there. I say the building's a sentinel standing by 24 by 7 by 365, protecting the most vulnerable. But there's the question, who protects the sentinel? Well, we know the answer. It's maintenance. It's engineering. This small group of folks protects that building, keeps everything the way it was originally built, and maintain it, right? And we see through accreditation just all the issues we have with doing that, whether it comes to doors or hazardous spaces, or it comes through contractors coming in, construction, or barriers. It just goes, again, these are issues we see on a regular basis. And I think a lot of it's just the lack of real understanding about the importance of what we do or the detail of what we do. There was a fire just the other day, February 7th, at Brockton Hospital in Boston, Mass. Now, it doesn't happen very often, and this was a major incident. It's a 5-story building, and at 7 a.m. in the morning, a transformer went, and it smoked, and it created, I guess it was a fire, but lots and lots of smoke, and no generator, no power at all to the building, so completely blacked out. Well, fortunately, alarm system, on battery, it alarmed, doors closed, things happened. It protected the patients, but it resulted in a complete building evacuation. They had to move the patients, horizontally as far as away from smoke that was accumulating and the air quality was dropping. And also, the patients were evacuated, like I said, from 5 floors. The fire department told them the air quality was so bad, they told the staff, you can no longer remove patients. What a heartbreaking moment that would be for staff not to be able to go back and get the patients. However, because the building did its job and the firemen, they had 10, it was a 10 alarm fire, so lots of firemen, they went up and they brought them down these steps from those floors and evacuated everybody. It was 7 a.m. like I said, 160 patients were evacuated, and they took 70 ambulances. That 7 a.m. is so critical. Why? Well, both shifts were there. What a small miracle, right? And they had some daylight. What another small miracle. What if this was Saturday night at 2 o'clock in the morning? If that sentinel wasn't ready at that time, it would have taken, as you know, a lot longer to get people out of that building. Again, no deaths. So this was a good ending in a sense. Now, they're going to be closed till May, 3 months. That's devastating for an organization, right? And they got a lot of work to do, and I'm sure there'll be investigation, and we'll be hearing more about this in the future. But I hope this story just gives a big exclamation point for the need for a developmental pathway for leaders and technicians. It's like the longer I'm at this, the longer I'm doing this education, the more I realize the body of work that is involved in this profession, And I think that it's time. It's time for us to really start to develop people in a formal way. I'm a big fan of work and learn. I'm like, hey, hire somebody who's a strong mechanic, hire somebody that's a good manager, and then let's put them through something very formal. Let's develop them as quickly as possible. Let's reduce that risk. Let's protect those patients, and let's protect that sentinel. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot for listening to this. Maybe a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but listening to this presentation and listening to me try to make a case for a pathway. And this is part 2, so I've got 5 more parts. And some of them might be a little controversial. So, but I hope you enjoy it. I hope you understand my heart, and that is, we want to raise the tide. We really want to create a profession that we can be really proud of, and that we can do the best job possible protecting those that we serve.